Hello and good morning. Joe Justice here, coming to you live on January 23rd, 2023. This is the last full week of January. Can you believe we're already this far into 2023? It feels like it was just Christmas yesterday. And here we are in 2023 at the end of January and ready for another exciting week ahead of us. We've got some great guests planned for you this week, and we're going to have lots of fun and talk to lots of really interesting people. So I hope that you join us, or at the very least, watch Quick Bites Daily at your leisure, at your convenience. We're always, of course, available on demand. So I was wanted to talk to you today about an interesting article that I saw at ZDNet that I thought would be great to look into as we head into the last week of January here. The Office of 2023, the top workforce trends that will shape the year ahead. So that's what we're going to look at from ZDNet. And I've got it in the comments. I've got the link to it. So we're going to take a look at this and see just what it is that's in the future for companies as we move forward. What is in store for the workplace of 2023? Look out for hybrid work, shorter work weeks, and more opportunities to upskill, possibly even VR. We'll talk about that. That's a big question for me. There have been plenty of changes in working lives in the last 2 years. In 2022, the panic forced many people to work from home. And the 2021, the Great Resignation showed that workers weren't afraid to jump ship to better opportunities. So, of course, you can't talk about how the workforce and, kind of general behavior of people have changed without mentioning the pandemic, of course. That changed everything. Now, one thing that those of us in IT, talk about from time to time is the fact that for years, I would go as far as to say 4 decades, we've tried to show people different ways of working remotely, different ways of working from home or being available on vacations, ways to kind of unshackle yourself from your desk. These have been the types of things that we've been promoting for years and years and years and years. And, we ran into lots and lots of companies that just said that it wouldn't work with their business model. It wouldn't operate for them. And, you had to be at work. You had to be at your desk. You had to have your desk phone. You had to be able to pick up that phone for people to call. And finally, the pandemic broke through all of that. One of the good things that came out of it was the fact that people understood that these kind of remote working options were available. Obviously, there were lots and lots of downsides to all that. So I'm not saying that was worth it or anything like that. I'm just saying that that's one of the things that happened was the availability of remote work. Now, I'm not one of these people that believes that everybody can work remotely and that all jobs can be remote. I think that it's important to be in the office. It's important to be able to work with your colleagues, meet with your colleagues, operate with your colleagues, and not just stare at screens all day long. I'm a big advocate of getting out, meeting people in face-to-face type interactions. But I know for years and years I ran into situations where you would need to meet with someone, talk with someone, didn't want to do it through a phone call, and lots of money were spent on jets and travel and all kinds of things to sign contracts or to sit around boardrooms or whatever it might be to do some type of business negotiation that could have easily been done electronically. And now we've gotten to a point where that's become way more common and way more, just accepted as regular business practice. And I do think that that's a good thing. So the first big trend here that they talk about is the retention through upscaling. In 2023, workers can expect their employees to invest, their employers to invest more in training and upskilling programs to equip them with the skills they require. John Cohn, research director of Gartner HR, says that companies will need to look into internal upskilling compensation for growing talent shortages. Now, I am a big, big, big advocate of this. I do believe that companies should upskill their own employees. They should give upskilling opportunities. They should hire people that are a good fit for the culture and are smart and are dedicated and work well with teams and work well with others, and then give them the skills and upskill them so that they're capable of doing the jobs. I do think that we've outsourced companies have outsourced a lot of training to institutions, and I don't necessarily think that that's a good idea. I think that the better way is to provide learning opportunities, and there are so many different ways of learning and training and teaching nowadays that it really is easier than ever to be able to upskill your current workforce rather than trying to find that perfect person that's got all these skills that you already need. Take people that you already have, that you already like, that are good employees, and then teach them, add to their skills, and develop more with it. I think that that's a wonderful idea. Up next is hybrid and remote working aren't going anywhere, and this is definitely true. Despite many companies encouraging employees to return to the office, employees aren't letting go of hybrid remote work, and this is a this and with the recession threatening to further increase the cost of living, workers don't want to spend extra money on gas, lunch, and their morning macchiatos. Yeah, well, I am not one of these that believes in remote work for all situations. I do think, and I've noticed when you look at some of the coverage of this stuff, and you look at what employees have been demanding, especially the big companies, they've been demanding remote work, remote work, remote work. Suddenly, it's starting to change to hybrid work or hybrid and remote. Pretty soon it's going to be hybrid, and then it's just going to be flex hours, which I think is really what it comes down to at the end of the day. And I think that makes total sense. I mean, when you look at it from from a 30,000 foot view, the whole idea of a 9 to 5 schedule, that was all based around factory employment, and it was about going to a place, making widgets all day long, and then you sign off, you punch out, and then somebody else comes in behind you and gets on the widget making machine and works on those. That model of 9 to 5 type work doesn't necessarily work with a lot of the information type economy that we work with today. There's so much of that work that can be done remotely, and it can be done through hybrid situations. I think hybrid is the way to go, and I'm a big believer in flex schedules. You don't need to, you do not need to have handcuffs with your desk phone to be able to get business done. You've got email, you've got texting, you've got video conferencing, you've got software like Teams and Slack for collaboration. You have all of these different tools that are available to you. Why in the world do you need to go to a building for not only for 8 hours a day? That's all well and good, but why between 9 and 5? I don't think that makes any sense, and that's definitely going to change moving forward, outside of factory conditions where you do need the people actually working there all the time. I really do think that type of thing is going to kind of go away and won't be anywhere near as common in the future. Work-life balance is as crucial as ever. Of course, hybrid remote work offers something employees hadn't received much before the pandemic: more balance between work and their personal lives. I don't know if that's necessarily true. It's usually the first benefit that employees cite when they're asked if they enjoy working from home. So obviously, people, I don't necessarily agree with that. I've talked to lots and lots of people that have found that working from home is actually way more difficult than going to the office because they've got all of these other distractions going on. They've got their kids, they've got their spouse, they've got they've got their pets. They've got all these things. Then you end up with these situations where they have, you can buy like signs that you can put on your door that, or do not disturb lights that will light up when you're in a meeting or something like that. You don't have to do that kind of thing when you're working at an office. You can shut your door at an office, or you can be alone when you're at your office. You can sit at your desk and get work done. That's totally acceptable. That's totally normal. Nobody can bother you, except for that one person down the hall that's always popping their head in asking what your plans are for lunch. That guy's always going to bother you, but everybody else will kind of leave you alone and let you get your work done. So I don't necessarily know that it's been a net positive for family life. But I do believe that the flex schedule thing, I think that's going to be the outcome of all this stuff. Once it's all said and done, people talk about work-life balance, and they talk about hybrid work, remote work. They talk about all these things. And what I think they're really getting at What I think they're really getting at the end of the day is this idea of having a flexible schedule where you can sure go to a meeting at 10 o'clock, downtown, that's no problem, but be able to leave at 3 o'clock to take your kids to the basketball practice. I think that's the world that we're going to be moving into. I think that's the world that people want to be into. I think technology enables that I think technology enables that world. I think technology enables that world, and I think that's where the future will lead us in 2023. We'll get it all sorted out, and we can help you out with all of that along the way. Thanks for watching today. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you tomorrow.